Hi folks, Ted Spear again. You know, most older alumni students perhaps barely remember their middle year experience at IPS. After all, many of you have gone through 2 or 3 life chapters since then. You went to high school, then off to work or post-secondary studies. You've traveled to new places, and some of you have got married and had kids, for goodness sake. What's happening? The snippets that might stand out are likely the memories of the crazy things that we did. The hiking or kayak trip, the Battle of the Hill water fight, or maybe the bizarre house lunches. I want you to know, though, that, believe it or not, there was actually a point and purpose to what we were doing. The teaching staff who worked at the school had a bunch of very specific things that we collectively wanted to make sure happened. First, we wanted a safe and encouraging place for 11 to 14-year-old kids to be themselves. Second, we wanted to push you on the foundational things that actually free a person to operate independently from someone else's plan for you. I'm talking about the basics. The ability to understand numbers so you don't get ripped off on a mortgage, an encouragement to read widely to give you a deeper understanding of people in the world, an ability to express your ideas in written and oral form, which I have to tell you was sometimes tough sledding in middle school, and perhaps most importantly, the capacity to analyze arguments and think critically. Third, we wanted in some way to introduce you to the great conversations of human inquiry in science, math, literature, history, philosophy, and art in a way that would allow you to get a first glimpse of humanity's remarkable triumphs and persistent failures. Along the way, we wanted to make sure that you are not breathtakingly ignorant about some very basic truths about what's going on in the world. Kelly Burnett used to do that in her World Watch sessions, and Adrian is doing it today in his Individuals and Societies course. Fourth, we wanted an environment that expected you to take responsibility for yourself. You had to pull your own weight and look after yourself on those outdoor trips. And you had to take responsibility when you did something wrong at the school. This is important to us because, as we all know, there are adults amongst us today, sometimes even leaders of countries, who haven't the faintest idea of what moral integrity looks like. And finally, we wanted to lay an initial foundation for you to discover and develop your own unique abilities and interests. That's what the over-the-top projects, the assignment extensions, and the Masterworks program were all about. One way we've tried to encapsulate all these purposes is to say that the point of IPS is to equip and inspire students to cultivate their humanity. The central proposition is that human beings have these distinct powers to reason, to be moral agents, to be creative, to be physically intentional, and that we express the best of who we are by cultivating these to the best of our abilities. Now that's a pretty monumental proposition for a little Bowen Island middle school to take on, but IPS educators have taken it on nonetheless, because we think that education is about something more than simply sequestering kids in school so we can have our economy work. Education is important work, perhaps more so now than it has ever been. The good news is that under the leadership of Scott Harrington and his staff, Island Pacific School will continue to fight that good fight. Again, the school is in good hands. Thanks.